Right, welcome. And this is the Fit-Tastic at Home video series. We're trying to feature resources for everyone to be more physically active and engaged out in their home setting while they're working from home. And just wanted to give an opportunity to introduce Laura Steele from BikeWalk KC. And Laura, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. And so for those of you that don't know, my name is Matt Kleiman. I'm with Wayne Inn, and Laura and I have worked together for a number of years on things related to physical activity in the Kansas City community. But I really want to just give this opportunity. Laura, help me understand what is all the great things that BikeWalk KC does.
So BikeWalk KC, we are a local nonprofit. Our main focus is active transportation. Under one roof, we do a ton of different things, everything from advocacy, community planning, policy work. We run the bike share system that you see around town. And I am the director of education at BikeWalk KC, and so we have both youth and adult programming around safe bicycling and safe pedestrians.
That's great. I remember working with Youth Build, where you all came and educated the trainees and got them all to earn a bike, and they had a great time riding with your educational program leaders. So you all do incredible work. Um, so maybe to start us off, the reason we're having these video series is to sort of help share resources in the community. Some of them are on the Fit-Tastic at Home webpage. And there's a link to that down below in the comments or in the description of this video. And there's also going to be a link to the BikeWalk KC in the description below. So people can check those out. But help me just start us off. Like, what's been your favorite way to be physically active at home during COVID-19?
Yeah, my family and I, so I have my husband and I have two kids. And I personally like to ride my bike around, to run errands just for recreation. We're teaching my young daughter how to ride. My son is 6, almost 7. He knows how to ride. And I also really like doing yard work. So I really enjoy being outside, and bicycling as well as the yard work kind of hits both those points. But I like to be able to get out in the community, have my neighbors see me riding, have my kids riding with me, and then when it happens that I'm out doing yard work, I get to kind of be out there really kind of shaping my house as a reflection of me. And it just sometimes feels good to get down in the dirt, pull weeds, and, see kind of an immediate difference from a weedy patch to a fresh cleared patch. So we like to be outside a lot. Again, we like to do a lot of biking, yard work too.
Nice. So I know BikeWalk KC has a lot of resources related to, you mentioned, teaching your kids to ride and getting them out as a family. With everything going on right now, what are some good examples that are maybe a creative way for a family to go out and be physically active while they're staying at home? What's BikeWalk KC putting together that they might want to share?
So from BikeWalk KC, we've really been supporting and advocating for open streets. And that is, a citizen-led effort to open the streets for people to be able to walk or bike while maintaining appropriate social distancing. Through traffic is still, or not through traffic, but residential traffic is still allowed. But the idea of being able to kind of take your block and be able to move through it for physical activity and some mental stress relief and whatnot without worrying about a car kind of bearing down on you is the point there. We are also, from the education side, offering some online resources. So we've taken our curriculum and we've kind of pared it down, but our main safety points are there about how to be a safe pedestrian, how to be a safe cyclist. So we've made recordings of those. We've done live streams of those to schools. And this summer, hopefully, if everything starts to reopen, we'll be offsite from the BikeWalk KC office delivering some of our programs in person.
Great. So you mentioned open streets as a policy, and you also talked about some of the safety aspects in terms of education. Do you have any good tips right now, especially kind of during the pandemic, as things are still sort of uncertain? What tips for being safe and being physically active, using our bicycle infrastructure?
Yeah, I would, definitely recommend all the normal kind of health recommendations, so everything from, wearing sunscreen and drinking plenty of water and being prepared for your ride or your walk, as well as incorporating kind of the local recommendations for social distancing, wearing a mask, and whatnot, adhere to those as people are out and about. When it comes to, walking in your neighborhood, if you don't have a sidewalk in your area, make sure that you're walking against traffic. If it's in low light, say the early morning or dusk, or it's overcast, making sure to wear something light colored, reflective if you have it. For the cyclist, definitely following the rules of the road and riding with traffic. Again, wearing light colored clothing or reflective clothing if you have it. And, again, following those rules of the road, stopping at a stop sign, signaling all your turns and stops, and following any other road signs that are out there. So those are pretty much the tips that we have. But again, when it comes to your personal safety, make sure that you're always kind of taking that into high priority and consideration, along with the local recommendations that are being put out.
That's a good refresher, I'm sure, for a lot of people to know that they can go to your website and find a lot of those resources that help, remind them what the rules of the road are. I know my favorite activity lately has been, taking my dogs on walks to the point where now they have become the internal clock for us. So we've set up a routine where every day we go for a walk, and I see a lot of people on the trails near our house who are using them more frequently than they normally would. And I really appreciate those bicyclists who have lights and who let people know when they're passing, and it just makes the experience better for everybody. So, just out of curiosity, I know I have my favorite trail near where I live, but what's the favorite place that you found to be physically active? Maybe it's a hidden gym in the city, or is it something there's a really good amenity for people to be out and about right now?
Yeah, Cliff Drive has always been a wonderful hidden gem. That's in the Northeast, KCMO, a historic area that has some beautiful, beautiful architecture in the houses and the different buildings that are out there. There's some great views because it is up on a cliff. But Cliff Drive itself, that's closed to vehicles, and so pedestrian and bicycle traffic is welcome. There's a really great waterfall, and there's a couple of places where you can hop off the road and go have a little picnic or something like that. Kansas City Museum is up there. It's a beautiful spot. The Colonnade is up there. Again, another beautiful spot that has some great views to it. Great places to, just get in some fresh air, take a little picnic, and just kind of refresh your eyes here in Kansas City. That's one of my favorites is Cliff Drive. I know on my commute to work, I go through several different neighborhoods, but I think it's the best commute. But, I get to go through several different neighborhoods, and so I live kind of West Plaza area, and I'm moving north towards downtown on my commute, and I just get to see the best of it all. So everything from Kansas to Missouri, from, like I said, kind of lower midtown to lower downtown. There's a
Hmm.
lot of good things to see.
So you mentioned the Kansas and Missouri side. I would share, I think one of my favorite places to be out and about, like Cliff Drive, is the Armourdale Levy Trail, which is an incredible resource and amenity. It connects around the Armourdale neighborhood area in Kansas City, Kansas, but it's close to highways, so folks can park and get in quickly. But the trail has some really wonderful views of the landscapes. You ride under bridges. There's all kinds of really great scenic views towards nature and the river, but also downtown Kansas City in some parts. so you can get a skyline view in some areas. And so I've always really enjoyed being out there, and I know that there's a lot of work going on with the Armourdale Levy Trail to make it even more of an amenity. You've been involved in the Move Your Way campaign. Is there any experience you've had in that area?
Yeah. So, the Move Your Way campaign, we were picked as a lead agency using Wyandotte County as our pilot community to increase the knowledge of the residents of the National Physical Activity Guidelines. And so, we're definitely highlighting those partner organizations and areas throughout Wyandotte County that allow for people to move their way, to be physically active, and that are accessible. And so the Levy Trail, like you mentioned, is a great place to go walking, jogging, riding your bike, walking your dog, whatever. There's several other parks within KCK that are great places to do that. We've been working very closely with the Rosedale community, and they have the Rose Arcs. Their development association also has a lot of encouraging and unique ways to get out and be physically active. So like picking up trash and, going and doing a work day on the trail and whatnot. And so there's a lot of great organizations out there and spots for people to be physically active. If you go to bikeWalkKC.org/moveyourway, you'll start to see some of our partner profiles that we've done, some of the videos that we've done for pedestrian and walking education. And those partner organizations are the ones who are really kind of giving the insight to those best places in Wyandotte County to be physically active.
That's awesome. I know there's a lot of great community organizations over in KCK. So to see them taking the leadership on increasing access to physical activity is wonderful to see. Last question for you that I can think of. We have this Fit-Tastic at Home webpage. Are there any resources that you've seen on there that you found interesting? I know we're hoping to encourage folks to remain, positive with opportunities to be, stay healthy, even if whether it's school or, you're on your screen, phone too much, and just ways to kind of keep their families, happy, healthy, and a little sane during all of this. Anything that you found up there that's been helpful to look at?
I mean, the Fit-Tastic website is amazing. You guys have so much stuff from the local resources, and you kind of run the gamut of ages, like activities for different ages, even the fun stuff, like you have a thing called dance parties, and so I really just appreciate the breadth of the different topics that you have. Like you mentioned, not only is there physical activity stuff, but then there's that ways to lessen screen time and family well-being and nutrition tips and whatnot. And I think all of that combined in the format that it is on the Fit-Tastic website just makes the whole thing a wonderful package, a wonderful kind of place to check out. And again, get those different resources and links to local, to other local resources.
Well, thank you. That's a very ringing endorsement, and we did not practice that. So thanks for the plug. Just as a last thing, what's the best way if somebody wants to get engaged with BikeWalk KC? How should they reach out to you?
Yeah, for education purposes, you can write me directly. We have a very simple format for our emails. It's just laura.steele@bikewalkkc.org. You can definitely go to our website and kind of look through the different teams or different kind of activities or disciplines that we do at BikeWalk KC. Education at bikewalkkc.org is another great place to kind of reach out to say, hey, I'm looking to do this, I'm looking to do that. And so those are a couple of pretty easy ways to get a hold of us.
Great. Well, thank you for joining, and look forward to seeing you again soon. But in the meantime, hopefully you enjoy your rides out there, and maybe we'll see you out either on Cliff Drive or Armourdale Levy Trail.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
All right, be well.